Swinging pendulum is the first response to a kick on purple belt. And the kick in this case is a right roundhouse. So the kick is coming up and out. Now, again, that is a karate style kick. However, it could be a big swing. The main thing here is that this technique is teaching us is to get off the arc or step up the circle in this case as well. So what we're looking at here is we are in a neutral position, a right neutral. Our hands are up in this case. It is also where we first introduced the universal block, or the concept of a universal block as well in our techniques. So as we move off from here, our left leg is going to step off that line. Now again, if that kick is swinging on an arc, it is coming in from my left side, which means standing here, I am on the kind of pinnacle of that arc. I am going to take the hit very hard where the power is at its greatest here. As we know with these things, like sticks and so on, once you pass that center or that top of the arc, the power starts to bleed off again until another strike comes. The same thing is true with a kick here. If we are either stopping it where the power is at its least because it hasn't generated, here is where the power is at its worst, and we don't want to be standing here. So again, we're in our neutral stance from here. What we're going to do with our left leg is take ourselves offline. In taking ourselves offline, we are now coming off that arc, which means the power is starting to bleed from this kick as well. Now, we can't rely on that on its own, so of course we need defensive postures for this as well. So once we take a step off, this is where our universal block is going to come into play. Now, again, the universal block in this case is our inward downward, okay? But what we are also being very careful of is you don't want to block a kick with your arm bones. That's just not going to be very fun. So we're not blocking shin here. This is an extra cover just in case it comes low. You may not make contact with this left hand in this case. What we're looking for is as we step off, our inward block is potentially going to be the biggest shield here. Again, this would hit in around the quad, so killing more of the power as well, or the remaining power in that muscle. So as we step off, we're catching it here, okay? Once we catch it here, our next move on this line is to come in on the line that we've just created and hit a hammer strike to the groin. You will notice then that my left hand comes to a check, of course. I'm hitting low, and I do not want this person falling on me. So again, I hit low, I cover high. From here then, I'm going to essentially turn my back to the camera for a moment, but we are going to adjust our line because now we're in a tight line and we want to hit an obscure elbow from here. By hitting this, my arm is now potentially getting blocked by his body coming forward. So I want to move off and create a new line to hit that obscure elbow. So from this point then, what I'm doing is once I've come in on this line, I am now adjusting to this line here, and I'm hitting. So we'll do that from a slightly different angle as well. So what's happening here is once I move, I'm going to step off the initial line of attack, keep my block and keep my universal up here. I'm going to drive forward or shuffle forward or push forward into a hammer strike on the new line, the diagonal that I've created. And then from here, I'm going to adjust my step to here, to this line. And as I adjust my step to that line, I'm going to hit my elbow into the head or face at this stage as well. So one more time, we have our step off, universal, shuffle forward into our hammer with cover, and then we're going to adjust our line off, and adjusting our line off, it opens up the potential for that obscure elbow. Again, the person is here, we're going to leave to this angle here in our usual cross out